Hi there, I'm Jason. This video is about the importance of knowing what the weather is like in your chosen country or town before you move there. If you're being told the weather is year-round spring-like weather, this is almost certainly an exaggeration at best. At worst, it could be a total misrepresentation of reality. You need to do your own research and you need to know exactly what the weather and the climate is going to be like. Don't let somebody else sell you on something that may be an exaggeration or misleading. If you move there and discover the weather is nothing like what you were promised, you're going to be very angry and frustrated with yourself because you will have spent countless hours and thousands of dollars getting there, only to find that now you need to move somewhere else. Okay, that's the short version. You can stop watching now. All right, bye. Okay, all right, thanks for sticking around. Let's dive into this a little bit deeper because this is exactly what happened to me. There were some blogs I was reading, some videos I was watching about Ecuador, and some people I spoke to in Ecuador who told me this exact thing. They said that the weather and the climate in the town that I was going to move to would be year-round spring-like weather. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear year-round spring-like weather, I think of temperatures maybe 20 to 25 Celsius or 65 to maybe 72 Fahrenheit. I think of blue skies. I think of puffy, happy little white clouds and sunshine. I think of all the outdoor activities I'm going to be doing because of the year-round spring-like weather that I'll be enjoying. On the other hand, I'm guessing that when most people hear the phrase year-round spring-like weather, they don't actually think of cold, gloomy, rainy days, day after day after day, and weeks, if not months, of unbroken, overcast, cloudy skies. Now, the town I'm talking about, of course, is called Loja, and if you were a viewer of my original channel, you'll know about this town. That was the place that I originally moved to. That was the first place I moved to here in Ecuador. And very quickly after arriving, I realized that the weather in that town was absolutely nothing like what I had been led to believe. There's one very important factor about this, and that is that I let myself believe this, right? I allowed myself to believe these things. And here's why. You know, after years and years of research and maybe even one or two trips abroad to visit different countries and check them out, when you finally find a place that you start to think might be the place for you, you start to get really excited, right? You start to watch a lot more videos and you start to work a little faster towards this goal, and you start to think, wow, this might actually be happening. This could be it. And so you reach out to people in local Facebook groups, and maybe you even speak to some real estate agents, and you know, they're going to tell you what they think. Now, of course, real estate agents are going to say whatever they think they have to say to get you to sign the contract. I mean, anything. And everybody knows that. They're like that in many countries, right? Definitely here in Ecuador, the real estate agents are 100% on the side of the owner, of the landlord, right? Your best interests as a tenant are not something they're concerned about at all. We can talk more about that in another video. So obviously you're going to hear good things from real estate agents. But you know, when you start to speak to some of the locals or the other foreigners who live here as well, they're also going to tell you things. They're going to give you their bias, right? And in some cases, they actually, of course, people do have different opinions about what nice weather is. To a point, I can understand this. You know, if you are retired and you really don't go outside very much, maybe you go for a walk, then if it rains all the time, it's maybe not as much of a problem for you. You know, if you're not working and you can go outside any day of the week, then you just go outside when it's nice weather, right? Or maybe if it is raining all week, you're quite happy to sit inside and read a book. So, when these people tell you that the weather is really nice and they like it, that's their opinion, that's their perspective. I get that. The problem is, of course, when they start telling would-be immigrants, people who are thinking about moving to that city, when they start to say, oh yeah, yeah, it's like spring all year round. I mean, this is a little misleading. Can you hear that drill outside? We've had a loud diesel engine just idling for the past 20 minutes, and now somebody's using a power tool. It's just awesome. Let's see what this microphone is doing. Okay, we're going to start that again. Okay, where was I? All right, yeah. So whenever I get online and talk about how bad the weather was in this town, in this part of Ecuador, I get a lot of people defending it. A lot of foreigners jump on and defend the weather and say, oh, it's not really that bad. And look, I would say 9 times out of 10, the people defending the weather are retired. So these people obviously have a lot more flexibility than you might if you are still working. They can go outside whenever they want. Okay, we got a plane now. So, yeah, so they can go outside whenever they want, right? What I do take issue with is when those same people try to convince newcomers, right, foreigners who are thinking about moving here, that the weather is in fact year-round spring-like weather, and they use that phrase. That is where it becomes, I think, misleading. It's not accurate, right? Because most people, when they hear the phrase year-round spring-like weather, do not think of endless rainy days and overcast skies for months on end. I'm pretty sure most people don't think that. Now, where this becomes a real issue is when you're not retired, right? I'm not retired. I know a lot of people who make videos like this are retired, and they do have that flexibility to go outside whenever they feel like it. If you're still working, then sometimes it's really difficult to make the nice weather line up with your day off, right? I mean, if it's been raining for 2 weeks and all of a sudden you get a sunny day, but you've got work commitments, there's nothing you can do about that. You can't just quit your job for that day, right? Especially if you're working for yourself or working as some kind of independent contractor or doing something online with clients, this kind of thing. Of course, you can't just cancel all of that. Now, here in Ecuador, I work way less than I did in the United States. I mean, the work-life balance you're going to have in a country like this is amazing. But even so, when you move to a place that has terrible weather, it really does cause a problem, because the nice sunny, the rare sunny days that you get often do not line up conveniently with your time off. It's really noisy on the street outside today. Can you guys hear that? Maybe I'll just, this is part of the experience, right, of living abroad. It's noisy, so maybe I'll just stop worrying about it and just talk right through it. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. All right, moving on. Another interesting thing that used to get said to me from time to time when I was complaining about the weather is people would say, oh, but I used to watch your YouTube videos from Loja and it always looked sunny and the sky was so, deep and blue and beautiful, and it looked like you had great weather there all the time. And I would say, well, of course it looks sunny in my videos, because I would wait until there was a sunny day before I actually recorded the video. Because, nobody wants to watch a travel video where it's overcast and gloomy and grey skies, right? That just looks terrible on video. Nobody's going to watch that. So I would just wait. And I will tell you that sometimes to make specific videos, there was a couple of times where I waited 2 or 3 months, like months, before I was able to get some nice weather that coincided with a day off, and then I was actually able to go out and make that video. So now there's 2 diesel engine trucks sitting right outside my window on the street, just idling. And I don't know why I bother. You know, I turn off my fridge before I make these videos because the fridge makes a low humming sound, and I worry that that will, you know, be audible in my videos. But now I've got 2 trucks sitting outside which are 10 times as loud as my fridge. Good times. Okay. Oh, I just kicked the camera. Let me check that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, another thing that you'll hear all the time from people who defend the rainy weather is they'll say, oh, but you can go hiking in the rain. Okay, you can go hike. I did go hiking in the rain many times. Because if you don't go hiking in the rain, you don't go hiking, right? But look, if you have outdoor hobbies and passions, like for me, it was cycling and photography. Now, I don't mean riding my bike 5 minutes to the cafe. I mean, cycling for me is and was my primary form of exercise. So I used to like going riding for 3 or 4 hours in the mountains. And if it's raining, you're just not going to do that, right? Riding a bike in the rain for 4 hours, even for 1 hour, is absolutely miserable. And anyone who says they like riding a bike in the rain like that is lying, because it's no fun. Okay, I'm just going to talk over it. You know, you get the mud and the spray up in your face, up in your mouth, and it's really not pleasant. So if it's raining, you're not going to go riding your bike like that. The other thing, of course, is photography. And look, I did plenty of photography in the rain, but when you're walking around all afternoon trying to actually do some photography and it's raining the whole time, it's just exhausting and it's no fun. And I did that plenty of times and I got lots of rain photos, but you soon get tired of doing that. So you can see, if you have actual outdoor hobbies and it rains all the time, rain can really prevent you from doing the things that you love, right? It's gonna stop you from doing those things. Okay, hey, if you're still watching, thanks, I appreciate it. It's turned into a little bit of a rant. All right, to wrap this up, I'm going to say, of course, other people are going to have different opinions about what they think nice weather actually is, right? So it's up to you. You have to go online and you have to do some research. You have to really understand the data about the country you're moving to and the area that you're going to move to. You have to really study that and understand what that means and figure out if that climate is going to be acceptable for you. As I said, I'm speaking from experience here. If you're going to spend all this time and money to move abroad, it's got to be to a place where you're going to enjoy the weather. Otherwise, like I was, you're going to be extremely frustrated. And as I said before, I fully admit this was partly my fault because I let myself believe these things that people were telling me or that I was reading online. I was really excited about that town and I wanted to believe that it really did have year-round spring-like weather. So that's on me. I allowed myself to think like that and wow, it was a massive, massive mistake. So just, please be careful. Really do your research and don't let this happen to you. Hey, thanks for watching. My name's Jason Alvey. I've been helping people with questions about life abroad for years now. Since 2022, I've been living in Ecuador. I currently live in the big city, Guayaquil. I've lived in Australia, of course that's my country of birth. I also lived in London, England for 2 years, and I've also lived in the United States for a very long time. In all, I've lived abroad now for more than 25 years, and I'm here to help you. If you'd like to set up a private conversation with me, we can talk about your plans. There's a link to my website in the information below this video where you can check out the services I offer and the prices that I charge for them. There's also a link to my photography website where you can check out my photography, my calendars, and my books. Of course, there's a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page, so if you really enjoyed what I did here today, you could buy me a coffee. I would really appreciate that. That would be awesome. Thank you very much. I don't use AI in any of my videos or photography, and if that's as important to you as it is to me, then I want to say thank you. Thanks for supporting somebody who's creative without the use of AI. If you're also a creative person and you don't use AI, let me know what you do in the comments below and maybe I can support you too. I really hope that you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Righto, cheers.